This week, I get access to one of Gatwick's best-kept lounging secrets, discover a low-cost airline serving up leather headrests in 2026, and catch yet another stunning sunrise on departure. A very good morning from Gatwick Airport over at the South Terminal, because today we're flying low-cost carrier Vueling Airlines, which, if you don't know, is part of IAG, the International Airlines Group, the same group that owns British Airways and Aer Lingus and Iberia, etc. And I booked this flight literally about 4 days ago. I ran a little Instagram session for you guys to request an airline, one that you want me to see me review. I do that quite regularly, and if you're not following me over on the Instagram channel, it's James Warren Travel Expert, and you'll always see some stories and you get to sort of suggest airlines and tell me where I should go next, and I always try and, get those in the diary for you, and this is no exception today. You guys asked me to cover Vueling Airlines from here in London Gatwick across to Paris-Orly. So, as a man that likes to deliver, pack your bags and let's get on board Vueling Airlines across to Paris-Orly. Having stayed at the North Terminal, it was a rather lonely shuttle ride over to the South Terminal, which takes just under 2 minutes, and once you get off, you're straight into the check-in area here at Gatwick Airport. I'm sorry, but I've got to call this out. A £1 charge just to weigh your bag. It seems a bit excessive? Unnecessary? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Now, I didn't need to check any bags in today. I was travelling light with hand luggage only, so it was straight up to departures and through security for me. But if you do need to check in bags on Vueling, just ensure your fare includes them. So, all through security, how was that? Well, pretty damn good, Gatwick, to be fair. Through in under 2 minutes. No fast track for me today, because you don't get any special security when you're flying Vueling. But all pretty quick, pretty efficient. That's what we like to see. After escaping duty-free unscathed, I went in search of a lounge, and for me today, it's the club rooms. So, a good morning all through security now and into the confines of the Club Rooms Lounge here at Gatwick. Now, it is included with Priority Pass, but you do need to pay a premium upgrade fee, which is just £10 this month. Now, I'm kind of cheating really, because the Vueling experience doesn't include any lounge access at all, but I thought, you know what? When in Rome, why not? But the lounge here, the Club Rooms, I can really recommend. It's super small, super private, and feels a little bit like your own kind of private suite, really. I've got the whole place to myself. There's only 2 other passengers in the other room, so it's kind of a really nice, private, quiet experience. I did have a look at the other 2 lounges that are available to me. There's the Plaza Premium here at Gatwick through Priority Pass, and also the number 1 lounge, which is the sister lounge of the Club Rooms, and it's just opposite to me where I'm sat now. Both very busy, very crowded, so I thought I'd afford myself for just £10 a little bit of private luxury. There's a bar with premium spirits and mixers, a fridge stocked with soft drinks and fresh juices, an automated coffee machine with all the usual options, as well as teas from Twinings, including a few specialty blends too. And as someone who drinks decaf tea, this is genuinely great to see. There's also a hot chocolate station complete with syrups, marshmallows, and various other toppings. So I must say, this kind of lounge experience has taken me a bit by surprise. It's really, really nice. Now, as most of you know, I have Priority Pass, as does the husband, through our American Express Platinum card. But sometimes the lounges are quite basic and small, and the food is pretty much of a muchness. Now, I did think when I came in, that this would be a bigger kind of Club Rooms lounge, but it's not. It's really small, it's really private, it's really quiet, and it's really comfortable. All the food is cooked a la carte, so you've got a breakfast menu and you just order what you like. So I've gone for the rhubarb and custard crumble overnight oats, which is, a dream dish in my opinion. I adore rhubarb and custard, so that sounds great. And I've gone for some scrambled eggs on toast with smashed avocado. Absolutely love it. Really, really good. I love how it's a la carte and there's no kind of buffet. There's a few little things dotted around the lounge, pastries, pain au chocolats, croissants, fresh fruit. But if you want stuff from the food area of, hot food kind of things, it's all done cooked to order. So, yeah, a really nice touch and definitely worth that £10 upgrade. If anything, just for the peace and quiet. I made myself a decaf tea, grabbed a couple of croissants, and before I knew it, it was time to leave the lounge and head to the gate. So we are off, gate's been called, 22, we should be boarding in about sort of 10 to 15 minutes. Pretty smooth experience, Gatwick, really can't complain. And if anything, it got even better. I was scanned through and told I could board at my leisure. Everything was already ready to go. What a refreshing experience. Now, Vueling's first few rows are the extra space seats, but for us today it's standard economy in seat 9A. So here we are, all aboard of Vueling Airlines' this flight from Gatwick over to Paris-Orly, the most efficient boarding process I'd ever witnessed in my life. There was no queuing, no boarding, not boarding, Mr. Paul Lucas in play. It was literally straight to the gate, straight through, scanned on and boarded straight away, and everyone's just boarding at their leisure. Really, really impressed with the experience, because you don't get that with full service carriers. Sometimes you could be queuing on an average for quite some time, so initial impressions are pretty good. Legroom is pretty standard, a little bit on the tight side, but nothing majorly noticeable. It's comfortable enough to sit for a very short flight like this over to Paris, so no complaints on that front. So just the final passengers boarding. I'm going to show you around the seat and everything else that happens on this flight over to Paris-Orly. Once in your seat, you've got overhead air vents and personal reading lights, and yes, yellow leather headrests. Are we really on a low-cost airline? There's a very small drop-down tray table, here's my hand for scale, a manual window blind, some reading material including the in-flight menu and shopping catalogue, as well as USB-A charging ports and Wi-Fi on board too.
Nous vous recommandons de garder votre ceinture attachée jusqu'à extinction du signal.
So, all up in the clouds, a nice little queue for takeoff today out of Gatwick. We were number 6, a couple of easy jet flights ahead of us, a couple of BA flights, one Norwegian departure, and then us. So we were sort of sat at the threshold of the runway for about 10 minutes, but hey, we're up now and we are certainly on our way over to Paris. So really quick flight time today, just under 50 minutes. So that's certainly a pro. And I'm interested to compare this experience with my experience when I took the Eurostar, the train from Paris Gare du Nord back to London St Pancras. I want to see what is the ultimate winner, flying or the train? So we're about 10 minutes up into the climb, already levelled off, and pretty much starting our descent into Paris. It is a super quick one, but to the testament of the cabin crew's efforts, they have tried to run a service, so they've offered drinks and snacks from their paid-for cafe range, and also now a shopping service as well. Incredible considering the flight time, but absolutely remarkable efforts from them. So let's weigh up the thoughts then. So if we look at the cost of that Eurostar compared to the cost of this flight, I paid £167 for this flight, less a £100 BA customer relations voucher, which was given to me because we had an issue on a previous flight. So that was redeemed against the cost of this flight because it's an IAG partner, so you can use a BA voucher against the cost of the flight, as long as you book it through BA's website at ba.com, which is what I did. So aside from the £100 voucher, this flight essentially cost me out of pocket £67, which isn't bad at all. The airport experience, much quicker, through in literally minutes compared to that 45-minute wait over at Gare du Nord. So yeah, I think I'd pick flying. The Eurostar was really nice, and it was really comfortable, and there was a lot more space, so certainly that's got going for it. But yeah, I think when you factor in security, if it's always as good as it's been today at Gatwick, I'd take the plane. So not much too longer to go with this flight left, to be fair. We've got about 10 minutes just hammering through some of the clouds on the approach into Orly because it's quite overcast, but there's no rain, which is good. Now, you'll have to stay tuned because next week we're headed to somewhere really interesting, and that's my next stop off when I get off this flight. I've got to race through the centre of Paris to go and visit somewhere pretty unique and special. So stay tuned. I hope you've enjoyed your little look around Vueling Airlines, what they offer and how competitive they are. I must say, for me personally, it's been a pretty good journey, especially with that boarding process over at Gatwick. Super smooth and far more efficient than some legacy carriers, let me tell you that. So, from about 10,000 feet as we circle Orly, awaiting our slot to land. I've been James Warren Oliver, and I'll see you in the next one. Well, Vueling, where do I start? I came on board with fairly modest expectations and you quietly went and exceeded them. For the money, this was a genuinely good flight. There are a few obvious low-cost shortcuts, of course, but you haven't sucked the joy out of the experience. If anything, you've proven that budget flying doesn't have to feel cheap. Now feels like the perfect moment to ask, if you're enjoying the adventures so far, hit subscribe, turn on notifications, and come along for the ride with a growing community of fellow travellers.